Hello everyone and welcome to Mythic Xhul'Horac. In this video we'll be looking at how to effectively heal the encounter on a Discipline Priest. Your tanks will pretty much be melting the entire time straight from the first dad spawn all the way to the soft enrage, and because of how much damage they take, I really recommend going Clarity of Will on this fight. It's going to help your tanks stay stable for the Fellblaze Flurry, as well as for the Withering Gaze, both of which will 100 to 0 your tank if the tank and or healers are unprepared for them. In addition to the tank healing, Clarity of Will does an excellent job taking care of black holes. With enough warning, you can shield your black hole soaker enough that things like Cheat Death or Purgatory won't even be popped. Now, having said all this, Words of Mending doesn't even fit into Xhul'Horac's damage pattern of big bursty instances of raid-wide damage, so Clarity of Will looks even better, in my opinion. So, Fellblaze Flurry, as well as the Withering Gaze, is a tank nuke that Penance really shines on. You should be looking to pre-shield the tanks with Clarity of Will and Power Word Shield, then have a Penance prepared for when the add mechanic hits. The Flurry and the Withering Gaze are both channeled abilities, so using your own Penance to channel into the tanks is pretty much a direct counter to these abilities. The adds will be channeling damage and you will be channeling healing, so one-for-one trade-off, the tanks are pretty much stable the entire time. I would also recommend landing your Empowered Prayer of Healing on the tank group whenever possible. The Aegis will definitely be used up on the tanks, and any extra shields they can get are going to go a long way on this fight. Now, what's going to separate the good Discipline Priests from the great Discipline Priests on this fight is how well you're healing the other stuff at the same time you're babysitting the tanks. The things that you're going to want to look out for on the raid are the Fell Surge and the Void Surge. These are your spot shield targets. Because of the way that these mechanics work, I actually like taking Body and Soul for this fight. It's the only fight I recommend it on. Pretty much anyone who needs to run out of the raid gets a shield to cover the damage over time from their debuff, and they also get a nice speed boost at the same time, so they can get out of the raid, drop the fire, and get back in the raid faster to get back on the boss, all of which is better for your raid. So that's all the debuff abilities in the fight. The only other mechanics are the black holes and the fell chains. For the black holes, I typically try to get 2 clarities and a power word shield on the next black hole soaker with about 10 seconds left on the black hole spawning. Doing that many absorbs on the soaker will give you about 500,000 in shields for an ability that deals 900,000 damage. If your soaker pops a big defensive cooldown alongside those shields, then all of a sudden that 900,000 is even lower and your 500,000 shield is covering nearly all of the damage. And in the case of a Death Knight soaking the black hole, that will be 500,000 worth of healing that you don't need to do to bring your Death Knight out of Purgatory and keep them alive. Just fair warning though, doing this requires several seconds of pre-planning and raid communication to get that much shielding off. A lot of the times you just don't know who is going to be soaking the next black hole until it's just about to spawn. You'll see in the video I don't actually get to do this every time on every black hole, so it's not a hard and fast rule, but if you can pull it off, it definitely helps. That's pretty much all I do strategy-wise on the fight until we get to the enrage, which in the video you will see happening now. And for the enrage, you want to make sure you have your power infusion available. You want to make sure you have an archangel coming up, and you basically soak all of the damage with as many shields as you can during that time period. Pop your archangel, pop your power infusion, go ham with the prayer of healings, go ham with the power word shields, and it's basically just a race to the finish. This would also be the time to drop your barrier. Always prioritizing the shield targets that I mentioned earlier, the tanks and the people with the debuffs. Everyone gets a power word shield in that order. So hopefully that was some good advice for you guys, and you can kill Xhul'Horac a little bit easier. So good luck on Xul, and I'll see you at the next boss.